So on the 1000th day of the Russia-Ukraine war, which was on 19th November 2024, I found myself walking through the streets of Odessa, a stunning port city established by Catherine the Great, a ruler frequently invoked by President Vladimir Putin in his speeches today. Now, this city, which is Ukraine's largest seaport, plays a vital role in ensuring food security for over 19 countries worldwide. That's quite fascinating. So its bay stretches in an elliptical shape from the southwest to the northeast along Ukraine's Black Sea coastline, standing at a crossroads of waters and cultures. Recently, however, Odessa has become a frequent target of Russia's relentless missile attacks, primarily with Iskander missiles launched from Crimea, which, as we all know, was annexed by Russia in 2014. So on the eve of the war's grim milestone, Moscow launched a ballistic missile at the city, striking its energy infrastructure. Now, as I stepped off my minibus, I encountered a city cloaked in partial darkness, a lingering aftermath of the missile attack from the previous day. Now, near the sea, especially, the scene resembled a ghost town because an unsettling silence hung in the frigid winter air. Residents emerged quietly from narrow streets, their heads down, while military personnel guarded damaged buildings. Many of Odessa's really grand structures had their shattered windows replaced with temporary coverings, a stark reminder that glass is often the first casualty of an explosion. Now, we passed workers clearing shards from a recent attack on a men's club and a stylish restaurant. Just hours earlier, this very street had been littered with bodies. Although much of the city remained in darkness, some areas, mainly commercial zones, operated using generators. As I reflected upon the risks the city undergoes every single day from my own air shelter at night, the situation seemed rather bleak. I was really depressed. However, remarkably so, within 24 hours, the regional administration had managed to restore limited power to all residents, a testament to their resilience. Throughout the ordeal, the sensitive port infrastructure maintained an uninterrupted power supply, and this underscores Odessa's importance as the hub of Ukraine's export economy. So, let me tell you a bit about Ukraine's ports and why they are so special. Before the 2022 war, Ukraine had about 13 bustling ports along the Black Sea, which collectively handled about 160 million tons of cargo annually. And this data was given to me by the country's Seaport Authority. Since 2022, however, Ukraine has relied on just 6 active ports. Now, 3 of these, Odessa, Pivdeny, which is to the left of Odessa, and Chornomorsk, which is to the right of Odessa, make up the Greater Odessa port cluster. The remaining 3, Reni, Izmail, and Ust-Dunyansk, are river ports situated along the Danube River. Now, these Danube ports became significantly more active after Russia's full-scale invasion, which had caused Ukraine to lose access to ports along the Sea of Azov, including the prominent port of Mariupol. Now, although the capacity of the Danube ports falls short compared to the larger Odessa ports, the war has forced Ukraine to make the most of its available resources. Now, as a result, shipping activity through the riverine ports has increased dramatically. Now, despite their limitations, infrastructural limitations, these ports remain vital to Ukraine's broader struggle to sustain maritime exports. Now, thanks to the determination and adaptability shown by Ukraine and the depletion of Russia's Black Sea fleet capabilities, Ukraine has managed to surpass pre-war export levels, and this is quite unbelievable. The remaining Russian warships have since been repositioned eastward towards the Sea of Azov. Now, the question is, how has Ukraine managed this? And to answer this question, let's unravel the tragedies that war brings in the form of global hunger. So, after the Russia-Ukraine war erupted in February 2022, it triggered a severe crisis as grain exports from the Black Sea came to a halt. Now, at that time, in response, the United Nations and Turkey brokered a grain deal between Ukraine and Russia aimed at resuming exports to vulnerable countries in Asia and Africa. Now, this agreement facilitated the shipment of about 32.8 8 million tons of cargo through 1,004 vessels until it ended in July 2023. So following Russia's withdrawal from this grain deal, because Russia perceived that there was favoritism being shown towards Ukraine, Odessa suffered its first major attack by Russia in late July 2023. Now, as a result, grain exports temporarily slowed in August but rebounded in September when Ukraine established a new shipping corridor near the borders of NATO member states like Romania and Bulgaria. And if you were to look at the map, you'll understand. And for the record, between September 2023 and November 2024, this new corridor has facilitated the export of 83.2 million tons of goods via 3,100 vessels, more than double the activity achieved during the grain deal. Now, this remarkable achievement has unfolded despite relentless Russian attacks, with over 200 strikes across 60 separate incidents targeting the greater Odessa port region during this period. Now, the worst of these, as mentioned earlier, occurred on the eve of the war's 1,000th day. Currently, Ukraine's Seaport Authority not only maintains an extraordinary level of export activity, but also collaborates with Western partners to restore damaged port infrastructure and improve what is called as dredging operations, which were also impacted by these attacks. However, for these exports to continue, mobile shelters for port workers are really critical. Ballistic missiles launched from Crimea reach Odessa in about 2 minutes. Insufficient time for workers to reach air shelters. Now, mobile shelters could be life-saving as the frequency of these attacks have increased lately. So, where is the sea power differential today? Between Ukraine and Russia. Notably, the current assaults on Odessa are not being carried out by Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Kyiv has effectively neutralized a significant portion of Moscow's naval power through the deployment of Magura V-5C drones and Neptune missiles, sinking high-profile warships like the Moskva. Now today, 40% of Russia's naval strength has been destroyed, achieving a state of sea denial in the region. But Ukraine has not achieved air denial, where Russia retains a clear advantage. The frequent use of Excalibur and Iskander missiles and Iranian-made kamikaze drones such as the Hesa Shahid 136 strains Ukraine's air defenses. Now, air defense systems like the Patriot remain the most effective against Iskanders but are in constant short supply, necessitating regular appeals to Western allies for replenishment. Another under-discussed challenge is the extensive sea mining of the northwestern Black Sea by Russia. Now, this has endangered not just Ukrainian ships but also international shipping. Therefore, in response, Romania, Bulgaria and Turkey have signed a landmark agreement in January 2024 to clear these waters of floating mines. So what they've done is that by jointly deploying mine sweepers and mine hunters, they have begun systematically removing naval mines, ensuring safer passage for commercial vessels. Now, the key difference is that mine sweepers remove or detonate naval mines in large areas, whereas mine hunters remove individual mines in shallow waters. The Black Sea has become a modern battleground showcasing innovative naval warfare tactics. With Sweden and Finland joining NATO, Russia's power in the Baltic Sea has waned, and its dominance in the Black Sea is under threat because of the reasons I just told you. Now, this erosion of influence has intensified Russia's efforts to cling to it, resulting in increased damage to energy infrastructure and civilians in Ukraine. Now, technologically, the Black Sea serves as a preview of future wars driven by advancements in drones, missiles, and adaptive naval capabilities on both sides. And what about Odessa? Although wounded, Odessa will not fall. When the war began, many believed Odessa would meet the same fate as Mariupol, another key port city. Located in Ukraine's southern region and predominantly Russian-speaking, Odessa serves as the Black Sea's most vital port, while Mariupol on the Sea of Azov was central to iron and steel exports. So Mariupol fell after 80 days of full-scale invasion, its residents either fleeing or succumbing to relentless bombings. Strategic forecasts anticipated Odessa would follow, as controlling its ports was seen as critical for Russia's maritime ambitions. However, the last 3 years have unfolded rather differently. Ukraine's ability to achieve sea denial has forced Russia eastward in the Black Sea, confining its attacks largely to airstrikes. Now, for Russia to capture Odessa, it would need to mount simultaneous assaults by air, sea, and land. Having failed to do so at the war's outset when its resources were optimally robust, the likelihood of a grand success is decidedly slimmer, especially now, in my opinion. Ukraine's deployment of advanced maritime drones, new missile systems, and adaptive strategies has deepened the damage to Russia's capabilities. While Russia may eventually catch up in drone technology, because Russia is also trying very hard, building warships is something which takes years. So after 1,000 days of relentless war and the alleged use of the first intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, or a likely variant of it against Ukraine, I found that Odessa stands as a symbol of resilience and a crucial hub for global maritime trade, particularly ensuring food security for nations in the global south. This, dear viewer, is the first of my travel series. The link to the article is provided in the description box. I will be back to tell you about some fascinating stories from Indians in Ukraine in my next. Stay tuned.